Hello students, in this module we shall be discussing about Forest Conservation Act 1980. You know that forests are an important natural resource. From forests we get many major and minor products. The various products which we get from the forests include food, fodder, timber, etc. In addition to that, we get a number of other ecosystem services from the forests. Once upon a time, about 50% of the earth was covered by forest, but in the age of industrialization, the forest cover has been decreased significantly, as well as forest lands have been converted to non-forest uses. In 1980, National Forest Policy of India was promulgated, and in National Forest Policy it has been mentioned that about 1/3 of the country should be under forests. At present, about 22% area of the country is under forests. So, to protect the forests, to conserve the forests, this Forest Conservation Act 1980 was promulgated. This act also regulate that how forest land will be converted to non-forest land, or how forest land can be used for non-forest purposes. With this background, the learning objectives of this module are that what is the need of Forest Conservation Act 1980, what are the salient features of Forest Conservation Act 1980, and what are the limitations or drawbacks of the Forest Conservation Act 1980. The Forest Conservation Act is enacted due to rapid pace of industrialization that has put the forests in a serious jeopardy. The present legislative for the conservation of forest had origin in the British colonial in India. The Supreme Legislative Council passed the first Indian Forest Act in 1865, and attempts to slow down the deforestation is taken out of this act. Objectives and reasons of the act: deforestation causes ecological imbalance and cause widespread concern. To check further deforestation and dereservation of reserve forest and use of forest for non-forest purposes. This act was designed with approach toward issues related to forest conservation and similar issues. Let me come to the salient features of the Forest Conservation Act 1980. Restrictions on the use of forests for non-forest purposes, restriction on the dereservation of reserved forests, regulation concerning the diversion of forest lands by way of lease to industries and individuals, restrictions on the clear felling of trees, and constitution of an advisory committee to grant an approval for the conduct of any activity for which an approval of the central government is required. Scope and application of the Forest Conservation Act 1980. This act extends to the whole of India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which has its own state act with respect to the forest conservation. Forest policies in India. The first forest policy in India was framed in 1894. It provided right of the state to exclusive control over forest protection, production and management. This policy was followed by the policy of 1952 that was essentially in continuation of its predecessor. The next forest policy was framed in 1988. This policy focused more on forest conservation and less on their exploitation. The objective of ensuring environmental stability and maintenance of ecological balance. They gives incentives to panchayats to participate individuals in forestation and set up national wasteland development boards. But they failed to achieve people's participation in forestation programs. Then to give momentum to people's participation, joint forest management programs were initiated. Forest protection committees was also set with the same goal. Problems on implementing forest policy. They tend to conflict with statutes, development initiatives such as dams and other projects, human activities which generally bad to the destruction of forests. The conflict between the development goals and conservation of resources had reached to its zenith in 1980s and 1990s. The Ministry of Forest and Environment were subject to final approval from the Supreme Court to cross any diversion of forest land. The Central Empowered Committee set up by Ministry of Environment and Forests on the directions of the Supreme Court, and they provided effective access to justice for many interested in protecting India's natural environment. Judiciary and forest conservation. The judiciary played an important role in protecting forests and wildlife by appreciating the core area for legislative action. The courts endeavored to protect the rights of persons affected by development projects and tribal people who form part of the forest environment. The role of the Supreme Court of India needs special reference in developing the jurisprudence for forest conservation in India. The independent judiciary performed a stellar role in the conservation of forest and wildlife in India. The expansion of the locus standi has given momentum to judicial activism in the development of environmental jurisprudence in India. Public interest litigation, an effective tool for the forest conservation. Through the tool of PIL, that is public interest litigation, the Supreme Court had dealt with variety of issues related to conservation of forests, preservation and protection of wildlife, protecting the rights of tribal people and thus balancing the symbiotic relationship between the forest dwellers and the goal of forest conservation. The court has also addressed the issues of balancing the right to freedom to trade and business and the conservation of forest and wildlife and issues related to biodiversity. With the help of PIL, the Supreme Court has interpreted the provisions of Forest Conservation Act 1980. Interpretation and implementation of the Forest Conservation Act 1980. The Supreme Court sweeping directives to enforce the Forest Conservation Act. All wood waste industries were closed. The court also created central and state committees to enforce the directions it issued in this case. The court also said any non-forest activities has to cease immediately. Thus, all mining and wood-based industries prohibited. The Supreme Court examined a number of issues with respect to the Forest Conservation Act. Clearing of forests for agricultural purposes is not permissible without the approval of central government. It is prohibited to the leasing of forest land to private and industries or individuals, and therefore, the acquired land could not be distributed to the landless. This act is having a total of 5 sections. So, dear students, you please study about those sections of this act. In 1988, amendments have been proposed for this act. I will suggest you to study about those amendments also. Now, to conclude this module, the thrust for economic development and the need for protection of forest resources has put a challenge for the developing country like India. The Forest Conservation Act 1980 was enacted with a view to check further deforestation, which ultimately results in ecological imbalance. There is a need to follow the path of sustainable development so that the country progresses along with maintainability of ecological balance. Thank you.